Yay. And of course, chanting is a way to connect to that devotional aspect of the divine, the bhakti. And we'll just do, as we do, some ohms. And if you want to bring in another sound, if you feel inspired, if it comes out of your heart, go for it. Wherever you are in your breath, exhaling, just draw in a nice deep breath. So keeping your hands on your heart or at your heart, see what's arising. See what's arising in your heart chakra. The sankalpa, we call it, is the intention. But it's really what's spontaneously arising in your heart. And you'll just bring that into your breath here, into your body. And go ahead and take another full breath all the way in, breathing into the lungs, the lower lobes of the lungs to the upper lobes, and pausing at the top of your breath. Tone your pelvic floor a little bit. And then we'll take a full breath out through the exhale, releasing the fingertips to the floor outside the hips. And then we'll let our eyes open softly. Inhale, sweep the arms up, look up to your thumbs. Good, reach, reach, reach through the tips of the fingers. Start to open up the sternum. Okay, so you gotta find the thoracic spine, opening the sternum up. And then on the exhale, we're gonna sweep our arms to the right, take a twist to the right, look off your right shoulder. And take a few deep breaths here, inhaling, elongating your spine. And exhale. And see if you can turn from the heart center, the space between the sternum and the thoracic spine. We're spinning around that axis. Gaze of the eyes looks all the way to the right. Draw a deep breath in here, lifting up through the top of your head. Exhale, spin from the navel. And then inhale, sweep the arms back up. Look up towards the thumbs. And again, see if you can do a little back bend here in the upper back. Yeah, nice stuff. And then exhale, sweep the arms to the left. Take the right hand outside the knee. And root down through the sitting bones. Inhale, grow up tall through the crown. And again, spin to your left. So take a few deep breaths here. Just warming up that upper back area. Great, and then inhale, sweep the arms back up to the sky. And exhale, we'll take our fingertips back behind and see if you can stay upright, drawing the sacrum, top of the sacrum in and up, and then open up here through the front of your spine, opening the chest. Take a few breaths here. Yeah, so you're just breathing into the whole upper chest, collarbones, even the throat a little bit, opening this front line. We're going to work that anterior longitudinal ligament that runs up the front of the spine. We're going to work on opening that up today. And then exhale, release. Great. And then let's come over onto our hands and knees. Yeah. Actually, before we, well, let's sit back on our feet. You can tuck your toes under. I want to do some just gentle shoulder stuff here. So do a couple shoulder circles. And go in both directions. So back, and then we'll do 3 or 4 forward. Yeah. Great. And then we're going to do some neck rolls. So chin comes down towards the chest. Let your head roll to the right and back and over to the other side. And do 3 on that side. Yeah. And then we'll switch directions. And you can just go a little slower through the tension points. That's it. And taking your last little roll. Good. And then coming back to center. And we're going to reach the arms out in front and then turn the palms away from each other. Cross the right hand over the left. Clasp the hands. Yep. And then you'll just bring your hands to your heart here first. Yeah. So this might be it for you. If you can go ahead and straighten. I do this a lot as a body worker. But just see how your wrists are. Just go to your edge and breathe. Yeah. And then exhale, release it. And we'll cross the left hand over the right. And again, take it through. And you can just hold it here. This is a good enough stretch, or straighten the arms. And at this point, your feet might be screaming a little, so you can release and sit on your heels. Great. And then exhale, release. Great. Okay, now we'll come onto all fours. And just turn your index fingers in towards each other so they're touching. Yeah. And then we'll spin our hands back out. So that's just the way to measure the hands apart. And then we're going to take our left arm out in front and sweep the arm around. So you're going to just do a big circle and then turn your left fingers in towards your left knee. So you want to have your wrists lined up here. Yeah, we're going to basically do a forearm stretch. You're going to do the same thing with the other side. Lift your right arm, sweep it back behind, and then place it down about the same distance you had measured. Yeah, and then we'll tuck the toes under and just gently reach the hips back till you meet that first edge of sensation in your forearms. Stretching. We rarely get this part of our hands, and we do a lot with our computers and stuff. So this is just a great way to open up the hands, the wrists. Great. And then we'll spin the arm back around, place your right hand, spin the left arm back around, and place it. Good. And then we'll come into a few cat-cows. So inhaling, we'll open up the whole front, that anterior longitudinal ligament opening through the whole front. Look up. And then curl the tail, round the back, and open the back of your chest here, right between the shoulder blades, the rhomboids, back of the neck. And then inhale, again, coming into the front, arching. Draw the shoulder blades down and lift the sternum. And exhale, curl and round. So you find your own pace here. Coming back and forth. And then just taking it into some spiral movements. So you're getting the side of the body, bringing in the head and neck, and just find the movement in your whole spine. You might notice the quieter places. That's great. And just take a few more breaths here. Nice. All right, and then we'll come back to neutral here, neutral spine, and step the right foot forward. And then come on up here into a low lunge. We'll bring the hands to the hips here for a moment and do some hip circles. So we're going to focus on the upper back, but I want to get some opening in the lower body to support that. So you can do some big hip circles here. Moving the tailbone around. Yeah. Great. And then gently sink your hips down. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, we'll bend the elbows wide into cactus. So do a slight bow just so you're knitting the ribs in, but at the same time, draw the shoulders back. Yeah. So we don't want to crunch the lumbar. In fact, you want to get lifted. So your rib cage is lifting up off the pelvis as you curl back. Yeah, just take a few breaths here. You want to just go to your edge today. Stay in that heart space. So you're finding a level of compassion for yourself as you arrive in your body. Yeah, good. And inhale, reach the arms back up, and exhale, bow forward. Place your left hand down and reach the right arm up, and try not to collapse the left hip. So keep the hips engaged here. Great, and from the tail, reach out through the crown as you twist to the right. Nice deep Ujjayi breaths. The head of your right arm bone is rolling back as you look to the side. Good, one more deep inhale. Follow the exhale all the way out with the twist. Good, inhale, release. Let's pick up the back leg, and we're just gonna walk the hands to the left. This is a nice warm up here for the legs, back of the legs. You can keep your knees micro bent to begin if they're really tight, on the tighter side. And then inhale, look up, and exhale, fold forward. Yeah. And see if you can find the center of your feet here, opening up the toes, four corners of the feet equally grounding. And go ahead and just let your jaw relax, your head, your neck. Great. One more exhalation here. And then inhale, walk your hands back out, and we'll go over to the left side here. Bring your back knee to the floor. Hands come onto the hips. Woo. And let's take the thumbs here onto the lower back, kind of right where the lumbar, lower lumbar meet the sacrum, and you just kind of feel in there. Maybe you don't know where that is, but just kind of where the flatter area of your back is. Yeah, and then just spin the hips to the left. Let the upper body move with that. Some big gyrating movements, and then spin to the other side. Beautiful. And then come back to neutral. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale again, we'll cactus the arms. This is just a nice way to feel the shoulder blades on the back, right? Sliding and gliding down. And then lift the ribs up as you sink your pelvis down and breathe. Don't overdo it here. Let's keep the upper chest nice and light. Come back into that sweet heart space. Your why. That deep devotion in the heart to your practice, to your evolution. Deep breath in, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, bring your right hand down. And then slowly reach your left arm up without losing the hips. Right? So you got to kind of access the deeper layers for the twist if you don't collapse your hip. Keep working the breath, inhaling and exhale, deepening in. Eyes to the left, inhale and exhale. Good. And then we'll release the hand back down, pick up your back leg and walk to the right. Scoot your feet in a little bit closer so they're just a tiny bit wider than hip distance. Inhale, look up. Come into the center of the feet, exhale, fold forward. Let's take our elbows and hang. So give that spine a nice traction. Give your head a little traction. You can even take the hands to the base of the skull and pull down on the head a little bit to get that length. Yeah, so deep surrender, working the bottom of your exhalation and the surrendered energy. Good. We're going to bend the knees, gently roll all the way up to standing. Bring your feet a little closer and keep your knees bent. So we're going to just kind of find the weightiness in the hips. And then we'll just do some sways here to the right, to the left. Stay grounded through your lower body. And the hands can gently tap the kidneys, which is nice. Good, waking up the chi in the back body. And then coming back. And we'll lightly tap the chest. You can use a soft fist or the hands. Moving from one side to the other. Coming down the side. And to your abdominal organs, side to side. Just light tapping, waking up the chi all around the organs. Yeah. And coming back to the sacrum, down the hips and legs, up the inside, down the outside, the back of the legs, good. Anywhere else that needs it, maybe the top of the head a little bit, brushing off the face. And then we'll make our way, when you're complete, to the front of your mats. And we'll come into some slow sun salutations. So just do your best here. Hands come to the heart center. Come to Samastitihi. Come back to your intention, your sankalpa, your why. Relax your jaw, your head. Notice where your thoughts are. Notice where your attention is. Bring it back to the moment, back to the breath. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, let your eyes open, release your arms to your sides, and inhale, spin the arms all the way up. Stay rooted through the legs and feet. And exhale, come up and over with a big swan dive into forward fold. Good, inhale to a halfway lift, hands to the shins, get long in the spine. Exhale, step the left leg back to lunge. Bring your back knee down. And inhale, sweep the arms all the way up to the sky. Curl back. Exhale, hands to the floor. And step back onto the knees here. And inhale, exhale, lower down. And come into a cobra. Maybe an extra breath or two here just to warm up the flexion of the spine. Good, and exhale, lower, press back through the knees. And if downward dog doesn't work, you can stay here in a puppy pose, half dog. Otherwise, making your way back to downward dog. Let's keep the knees bent. Yeah, deep creases in your hips. Find your sitting bones, reaching back one at a time. Feel a buoyancy. With those knees bent, we can really feel the buoyancy of the hips. Plug the finger pads, especially the thumb and index pad, into the mat. And slide your hips back a little more. Good. And then look between your hands, step your left foot forward, bring your back knee down, and inhale, sweep the arms all the way up. curl back into crescent lunge. Exhale, bow forward and step both feet forward, inhaling to a halfway lift. And exhale, fold forward. Good. Plug the feet in, lead with your heart. Inhale, reach and radiate up. And exhale, come back to your plumb line, and we'll just move into the very next breath. Sweep the arms wide and up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, left leg back. Back knee to the floor, or you can keep it lifted. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Crescent lunge, curl back, exhale. Hands to the floor. And you can just come back to the half dog or moving through a vinyasa to cobra and then back to down dog or half dog. And enjoy 5 breaths here. Yeah. Just listening. So this is that deep devotional pose when we're down on our knees for half dog. So let's come into your heart space. What do you bow to? Where do you surrender to? Where have you made those mistakes that have brought you into more alignment with who you are, your authentic self? Follow your next breath to the tail end. We'll step our left foot forward. And inhale, like you're scooping up. Curl back. Rib cage is lifting off the pelvis. And then exhale. And we'll take a big step forward with both feet. Inhale, look up. And exhale, sweet bow. Dropping in. Good. Lead with your heart space. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, we'll swim back to our plumb line. We're going to do one more of these. Inhale, radiate the arms, widen up, open the kidneys. Exhale, fold. Uttanasana. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, right leg back, back knee to the floor. Inhale, scoop it up. And exhale. We'll step back onto the knees or plank pose. Lower down and slide your way through to cobra or upward dog. And pull those hips back to downward dog. Good. Adho Mukha Svanasana. So I'm going to spread open those hands big time. You'll notice that the weight wants to fall into the heel. So you want to even it out into the balls of the fingers, the roots of the fingers. And when we have that foundation, we can get more extension in the spine. The hips pull back. Deep breathing. We'll follow our next exhale all the way out. Step your other foot forward, because I can't remember which one I did. Inhale, sweep the arms up, crescent lunge. Ooh, curl back, exhale. Good. And stepping forward, inhale to a halfway lift. And exhale, just take a bow. And leading with your heart, inhale, sweep the arms, spinning the arms in as you look up. And exhale, come back to your plumb line. Great. And then let's take our left leg back behind the right, left foot back behind. And then you're going to bend both your knees here. So, yeah. And then take a hold of your left wrist with your right hand. And then lift those ribs up and off the pelvis here. A little side stretch here. And then come back to center. Take a hold of your right wrist. Stand on your left leg and reach your right leg back. Yeah. Good. And then open it up. Not necessarily a traditional pose, but feel good pose. Yeah. And then inhale, coming back up. Great. Okay. Now let's stand at the front of our mats. We're going to take the left leg back, turning the toes out about 45 degrees. Give yourself a little space so the heel can come out towards the outer edge of the mat a little bit. Yeah, and then take your thumbs onto that lower part of your back and lift your back heel. And as you're lifting your back heel, you're going to lift up with your ribs. And then the arms can just follow. So we're not doing the full warrior two because I find it quite intense these days, but you're doing a variation of warrior one. And then if it feels okay, bring your back heel to the ground. Yep, just do your best here, a little modified version. You can always have your arms down on your hips. Yeah. Good, and then pivot with your feet up and over to the other side. You probably notice one side a little different than the other. Yeah, come up off your back heel, spin that right hip in, and then start to lift up here. Yeah, so it doesn't matter. You can keep your hands on your hips. I just want you to get the feeling of lifting your ribs up, right? And then if the arms follow, great. And if you want to bring your back heel down into full Virabhadrasana 1, go for it. But just listen to your body. See where you can get the lift and lengthen your lumbar. I've been learning a lot about my own lumbar and how I've been crunching in that area. It's a hard area to get space into. You got to make the effort. Yeah. Good. And then straightening the front leg, turn the feet parallel, and we'll reach back, interlace our hands behind the back. Good. Inhale, open your chest, and exhale, fold in and breathe. So meet your edges here. Find the center of your feet. Grounding through the four corners, arches of the feet wakeful. Good. And you don't want to collapse your shoulders totally. You're keeping a gentle rolling of the shoulders back and down as the head lengthens towards the floor. Find the soft drishti in your eyes. Great, and then release your hands to the floor. Inhale, look up, turn the toes out, and we're just gonna bend the right knee, straighten the left, come up onto your left heel and walk over to the right. Yeah, and then inhale. We'll walk to the left. And back to the right, couple times, side to side. Great. Yeah, and then we're going to scoot our feet in just a little closer, but keep your toes turned out. Elbows come here to the inner calves. And you're just going to sink the hips a little bit lower. So you get into those inner thighs, moving side to side. Relax your jaw, eyes. Nice. All right, and then let's straighten the legs, turn the feet in, walk over to the right. And if you guys have a block, you can use your block here out in front of your right toes. The back foot is going to turn in about 45 degrees, and you want to have your back heel lined up with the inner edge of your front foot so that you can square off your hips. Yeah, you can put a little tea tray on your lower back here. Great, and then inhale, and you can even take your hand here into the lower belly, and you want to lift from the lower spine up through the sternum, through the crown of your head. Keep that length. And then if it feels okay, you'll fold forward and you can release your hands and reach your forehead towards the ankle. Just breathe. Great. And then inhale, look up. And let's walk with the block over to our other side. Readjust your feet in the alignment there, hands on your block. Square off your hips, and then inhale. I like to pull with my left thumb, pull the hip crease back. We didn't do it on the other side, but it really does help to align the hips. And then inhale, reach through the sternum, and exhale, fold in. Try to get the, when you lift and reach, try to get the lift out of the lower back. And exhale, fold in. Taking several breaths here. Beautiful. And then inhale, look up, exhale, hands to the hips, and we'll come on up to standing, turn the feet parallel, and bring your legs back together. Go ahead and do some hip circles. How are we doing? Having fun? Doing okay, Steph? Yeah, I can see your hips. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Let's come into tree pose. So standing on the left leg, lift your right foot either to the inner shin or inner thigh. See what works best for you. Feel free to use the wall if you need a little support. Hands to the heart to begin. And I like to think of hugging the hips in here. Just hug into midline. Yeah, give a little drawing in and up of the sacrum here. And then kind of follow that energy up with the arms reaching. And if you feel pretty stable in your lower half, you can take it into this upper back bend. It's lovely. Oh, curling back, smile. Imagine you're one of those brilliant maple trees right now. You can feel that in your extremities here, reaching, radiating, your true essence coming out. Good, and then exhale, gently release, and we'll make our way to the other side. Good. Vrikshasana, the tree pose. So find your balance to begin with. Yeah. So I've been learning lately in my own body, a little bit of a curve, a little anterior tilt is okay. So you can play with that anterior tilt and then finding that gentle lift up through the sternum. Shoulders back, crown of the head to the sky. And then if it feels okay, start to reach and radiate. Yeah. So the side body's lifting, the heart is opening, sternum. You might feel your tree swaying with the wind, that's okay. Ooh, curl back, open it up. Go to your edge here. Woo. And you might tip over like Sarah and I. And then exhale, just gently release it all. Great, you guys. Okay. So one more standing pose I'd love to do, Anahatasana. And you can take your hands on your lower back or your thumbs like we've been doing on kind of either side of the sacrum, maybe just a little higher into the lumbar, lower lumbar. And then from there, without pushing your hips or pelvis forward, you want to keep that little anterior tilt. You're going to lift up and open the chest. Lift up and open. Up and open. So it's subtle. This is like a subtle back bend, but it's quite powerful if you really work it, working the sternum up, breathing in. And then exhale, release it and just stand in Samastitihi, mountain pose. You might enjoy that little rush of prana in the chest, sternum, heart space. Beautiful. And then let's, excuse me, get some water. I'm going to get some water. Hold on. Just a little sip. Okay. Let's see. Let's come to the front of our mats. We're going to make our way a little closer to the floor. We'll inhale, reach the arms to the sky. And then exhale, fold up and over. Ooh, it's a little harder for me to do these days with the feet together, so you can take your feet apart if that feels better to you too. Inhale, look up, lift the chest, sternum, and exhale, step your left leg back. And let's come into, and you may need your block here, so just have it handy. We'll come into the half Hanuman. You can keep your hips level here. And maybe using the block on one side for balance. Yeah. And you just want to start with digging the heel in. Yeah, so it's like you're hugging the muscles on the back of the leg in towards the bone. Hug the hamstring into the sitting bone here. If this is your edge, just breathe here. There's all these heart meridians along the back of the hamstrings. So we are affecting the heart here. If you want to fold forward, lift your belly, chest, and then go up and over. So this is the half Hanuman, right? Hanuman, another one of his great stories is that he takes a big leap to Sri Lanka from India, from the mainland of India to Sri Lanka. And before he leaps, he has to pull all the way in to his most authentic self, to his most deepest devotional place in his heart. He has to know why he's leaping, right? Which is a great teaching for all of us. Why are we doing what we're doing? Great inquiry. And then inhale, we'll come through to Hanuman's mother, Anjaneyasana it's called. And if you need a little extra padding, which I'm feeling today, under your knee, fold your mat. Okay, and then we come up into Anjaneyasana here. Take those thumbs onto that lower back. So if you find your hip bones, right, the top of your hip bones, and you go in with your thumbs and then down a little, you're going to feel it's called your PSIS, these little bony landmarks, and then go in, and that's going to be your lower lumbar, right? So you want to place your thumbs there and then see if you can lift up, out from there, not just from your chest, but from down there. And then either the arms can come down by your sides or you can reach the arms up. You just see, or you can do the cactus. That's always nice. Yeah. Good, you guys. Yeah. And so the breath is helping you to get buoyancy in the upper body. Breathing into the whole chest cavity, heart, lungs. And then we'll exhale, release. It's always really big energy for me. So then you can come down and just rest the hands or forearms inside your right foot. And come into this hip opener, little counter pose. And your choice, you can either stay here and just keep working the hip or take it into the twisted monkey, bending your left leg and reaching back with your right hand. Did a really intense workout with weights yesterday, and I'm feeling really sore in my quads, everywhere. So we'll open the chest for these last couple of breaths. And release it gently. And then just come back into a sweet half dog stretch. And then as you feel ready, we'll come to do that same sequence on the other side. So starting with our half Hanuman. And we pull, not only physically do we pull in, which creates stability, it creates connection, right? The muscles to the bone. We pull into our hearts, we pull in energetically. Watch where your attention is right now. And you can just imagine that you're going to take a leap, whatever that is in your life that maybe you're feeling timid about. You can just imagine you're super connected to yourself as you take that leap to your truth. Good. And then we'll inhale, come through to Anjayanasana. You can just start with hands on the hips here, thumbs on that lower lumbar. And then you're going really up first into the side body, heads of the arm bones back. And you can keep the hands on the hips, bring the arms down, or reach them up. Just see what feels better. Cactusing is nice. But try not to collapse in the joints here, especially in that lumbar. We want to get lifted. Use your core. Use the core to lift up, 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 and open back. Last breath here. And then inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale. Come forward into our hip opening counter pose. So you can come down on your block if you have one. And just breathe. Yeah. Beautiful. And then inhale. We'll come on up, release the block, and let's come down onto our bellies and our forearms. So we're just going to come here into the Great Sphinx. And you'll just begin here by softening, melting, surrendering all the armor that we hold around our hearts, which we often need in this day and age. Let's see if you can soften it here. Feeling into that truth, into your true self. Wake up the toes, tops of the feet down on the ground. Just a little movement of the tail towards the heels. And then use the forearms to pull the chest through. Curl the head back. And breathe. Subtle but deep work in that upper back, thoracic. See if you can feel a couple little balloons lifting your collarbones up, your sternum. Good, you guys. And then take a little break here, resting your hands and forehead on the hands. Breathe into the upper chest. Feel all that energy coming up through your upper body here. Great. And then let's come back up onto our forearms. We'll bend our left knee. Reach back and take your left foot with your right hand. Yep. Do a quad stretch here, and kind of easy for the knee to go wide, so see if you can keep that leg parallel if possible. And you're drawing that heel towards the outer hip as you look off your opposite shoulder. Yep. And again, the idea is to keep lifting, lifting, lifting up and over to the right. And exhale, release gently. And we'll bend our right knee. I'm just remembering one of my dreams last night. Stephanie, you'll get a kick out of it. I was driving the Tesla, and I like got all these flat tires, and I was like, uh-oh, Travis is gonna be mad. Anyway, we'll see what that means. All right, lift up and over to your left. Oh, so I gotta inflate my tires here. Maybe that's what it's about. Oh, feeling that right shoulder. Good, exhale, release it, and let's take a little break again. Some big work. Breathe into your lower back. Oh. Let's take our hands by our chest, press back, and we'll come into nice, gentle child's pose. Feet together, knees apart and resting. Sometimes I find it's nice to be on a block these days with my head. That's great. Okay, and then we'll come on up here and let's come up to the front of our mats and fold your mat because you might need a little padding under your knees. And we'll tuck our toes under here. Yep, hands on the hips. And you want to feel sort of the balance in your pelvis here. So everybody's a little bit different in their pelvic tilt. But don't try to like tuck your tailbone here at all. Just keep your pelvis more neutral so that the sacrum is coming anterior a little bit. But the tailbone, you want to think of a little weight hanging off, right? Then from there, lift up through the sides of the waist. You can take the banker's pose. And this in itself is just a nice pose. So if this feels like enough for your body today, or your shoulder stuff, you can just hang out here. It's quite nice just to get the lift, right? And if you're feeling a little more ambitious, maybe you come back into reaching the hands to the heels. Listen to your back here. And then once you're there, you're just going to lift up Ustrasana. So good for our spines as women to keep the flexion, extension going. To come out, you want to find the pelvic floor, reach the sternum forward, and then just sit back on your heels. Rest your hands on your thighs and breathe. It's really nice to take your hand onto your heart. Come back to that deep devotional energy. When we start feeling the heart space, and this is what really hardship does, and sometimes the messiness of life that takes us to our knees actually cracks open the armor around the heart. And this time of year can often bring up the grief, the places where we are actually broken, that we have armored around. So just see if you can take a few moments and feel that armor softening. Notice what's present. Letting the lungs breathe. Beautiful. And then we'll let our eyes open, and we're going to make our way down to our backs, and you can have your block handy. And go ahead here and just bring your knees into your chest. Give a little hug, a little squeeze, rolling side to side. Oh, that feels good. Yeah. Yeah. Great. So let's keep a hold of the right knee and extend the left leg, either the left foot to the floor, or you can extend the left leg all the way out. Do a couple of ankle circles here. And then inhale the left arm up overhead. Give that whole left side a big stretch, and you might notice you're yawning. Deeper breath. And then we'll place our right foot on the left thigh and twist the knee as you open your right arm. Yeah. And this really gets into that lower lumbar. So just take your time here. Get a nice few breaths here in the twist. So the idea is that your knee goes all the way to the floor at some point, but you want to keep your right shoulder anchoring. So you're twisting all the way to the left. That's it, Sarah. Gaze off to your right. And then inhaling, come back, draw both knees in. Give a hug, a squeeze. And then stretch your right leg out. Place your left foot on your thigh and twist all the way to the right. Take your time here. Go slow. Finishing out your next breath, inhale, come back to center. Good. Bend the knees and shake your hips a little bit, just massaging the sacrum, lower back. Beautiful. And then let's take our blocks and we'll place the block underneath the sacrum here, and you can find the height that is the most ideal for you. Yeah. We'll take a few minutes here to open up the back, and then we'll do the full bridge without the block. So you want to keep your thighs parallel here. Yeah, but then let the lower back really rest down on the block. And then if you want to go a little further, you're welcome to come up into Viparita Karani with the legs up. Nice little inversion here. And either close your eyes or let your eyes soften in towards your heart space. We'll bend the knees and lower one foot at a time down. And then we'll lift the block up and slowly lower your hips to the floor and feel your sacral area. You may feel a little more of the surface of your sacrum on the ground now. Good, and then we'll go up one more time into bridge, this time interlacing the hands. And just as it's comfortable, walk your shoulders in. Press the inner heels down as the sacrum lifts in and up. Keep the chin neutral. And Deepen your breath. When you're ready, slowly make your way back down. Draw your knees into your chest again. Rolling side to side. Yeah. Great. And then let's make our way over onto our left side. Gently push your way up to sitting. Find a comfortable seat with an upright spine. So if you need a little blanket or cushion to sit on, we're going to do some breath work here. Yeah. So, bye, Steph. Thanks for being here. So resting the hands on the knees, close the eyes, and we'll bring the thumb and index finger to touch. And so be aware of that lower back area, that the top of your sacrum comes anterior, right? And that's going to lift your chest a little bit more. So we're going to take a mantra today, the So-Hum mantra, that rides on the breath. So let the tongue rest on the roof of your mouth. Soften the third eye space. And you can use the Ujjayi breath, finding the sound, the sweet sound of So on the in-breath, and Hum on the out-breath, which means I am that. I am that divine energy. I am. Your attention can rest in the third eye, the Ajna chakra. And we're just listening. Staying in the devotional space of the heart. What's in your heart? What is your deepest longing?